Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All set. So, the architecture of prosperity. Today is our last day to take a look at our theme for this month, which is building a life. And the book that we are using is The Architecture of All Abundance. And it's 7 Foundations to Prosperity by Lynendra J. Carroll, who is the mother of Jewel. I am going to totally suggest this book for one of our book studies because it's an excellent, excellent book. And today we're going to look at one of the sections, which is the architecture of prosperity. And I have a personal confession that I'd like to share with you. When I first came to religious science, I had a very high level of discomfort the first time financial prosperity was discussed from the pulpit. And then it was talked about again, and then again, and again. Why is prosperity so important? I thought to myself, isn't this a bit much for church? I was in a lot of judgment. But as I grew and matured spiritually, I realized this. Creating financial wealth is a spiritual practice just like any. If we are struggling financially, there is little time and energy to devote to developing our gifts, living our dreams, and that's like Maslow's hierarchy, right? Right there. If you're struggling, you can't get to the stuff you love to do. So this is an area that we just need to get handled so we can get about the business of being who we came here to be and doing what we came here to do. And besides, think of the good that can be done in our world as spiritually centered people get their hands on large sums of money. Isn't that exciting? I mean, what could we do to make this world a world that works for everyone? I really like that, so sign me up. So I shifted, first as a congregant and now as a minister, and I love talking about financial abundance. In fact, Suzanne and I have been talking about doing a prosperity class again because it's just so exciting to see transformation and things happen and just new gifts being shared. It's amazing. So, and I like looking at it, teaching at it from a spiritual perspective, of course. Yes, dear.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we had one of those prosperity classes. This was about probably 8 years ago, in which everybody donated 10% of unexpected money.
Yeah.
Over like a 8-week period.
That was the best part. That was the absolute best part.
And what we ended up doing was we rented a limousine. This is all from money we got
Unexpected. This is just money above and beyond what you expected to get.
Yeah, and then we drove that limousine, or that limousine was driven, went to the Grace Cathedral in San Francisco.
Walked the labyrinth, inside and out. Then went to a lovely lunch. All was paid by
restaurant.
Yeah, it was amazing to watch. Yeah. So it was all just, and it was just 10% of unexpected income.
Yeah, 10%
so
of unexpected income.
And I was actually a story that when my mom was living on her own and was just very convinced that her only income, her only source was her job. And I kept trying to share with her, no, Mom, that's not your only source. She just couldn't open her mind that it could come from somewhere else. And we're talking about that a little bit today. So we'll get into that. So in The Architecture of Abundance, Lynendra Carroll writes, I live a gracious and abundant life filled with the financial resources and possessions that most people yearn for. However, I did not achieve this life by yearning after those things. The finances and the possessions are, to me, merely the trappings of the life I dreamed of, for I long to deeply know and be in harmony with the laws of divine providence. We live in a vast and supremely responsive universe. Within this great being, we are infinitely prosperous. So the author of our theme book for this month is Modern Living Proof of the Promise that Jesus the Christ made to us over 2,000 years ago. And I want to share the passage this morning from Matthew. And it's Matthew 6:28-34, the Lamsa version, slightly different from the more common version in Luke. Why do you worry about clothing? Observe the wild flowers, how they grow. They do not get tired out, nor do they spin. But I say unto you that not even Solomon in all of his glory was arrayed like one of them. Now if God's clothes in such fashion the grass of the field, which today is and tomorrow falls into the fireplace, is he not much more mindful of you, O you of little faith? Therefore do not worry or say, what will I eat, or what will we drink, or with what will we be clothed? For worldly people seek after all these things. Your Father in heaven knows that all of those things are also necessary for you. But seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all these things shall be added to you. Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will look after itself. Now, she wasn't always living proof of this profound promise and the clear and precise prescription of how to live a life of material abundance. She, like many of us, lived in an economy of lack. We feel so much lacking in our lives, and we strain and sometimes even fight to have more, and we cling to what we have. We try to hoard resources to create a stockpile. We've been taught that this is natural and even wise, but it is in fact contrary to the natural order of the abundant flow of life. The truth is, the spiritual truth is, there is more than enough of everything. The truth is, the spiritual truth is, there is sufficiency for all of our wants, needs, requirements, and dreams. We may be unable at times to see it, but it is there. Because we cannot always see it, we suffer a particular blindness that is robbing us of a satisfying quality of life, one that includes ease and abundance. We lack the understanding of our assured place in the abundant natural flow of life. There is a way out of the blind spots and into the infinite flow of the abundant life. Jesus gave us the prescription in the passage I just quoted. It requires commitment and courage. It requires that we go beyond our comfortable little realities and out into the unknown, the unseen world. And it requires that we trust, So I've spent this whole last month, sharing Lenindra's Carol's words with you. And this morning, I've invited her to share her story with us and to let you experience what moved her into the infinite flow of prosperity that is the truth of our universe. So we have a little performance for you this morning, and we'll get on with this right now. Put this up here. Okay.
Hello there. I'm Lenindra Carol, and I'm very, very ill. I'm under a tremendous amount of stress, being a single mom, a sole provider for my family. I don't take care of myself or eat right. Ooh. Ah, yeah, it keeps me going.
Oh.
As you see, I've got a lot of old emotional baggage I'm lugging around. And on top of that, I've got some lousy genetics. All these things combined have put my health in serious jeopardy. My cholesterol is exceedingly high, and although I'm only 40, I've got angina and apparently some damage to my heart muscle. The medications aren't effective. The surgical recommendations seem poor options at the best. So I'm told I have to cut down, way down, on my activities from now on if I want to live. I've never been so ill that I couldn't work. But a month ago I had to close down my art gallery. I've survived not only with the help of friends and family and by selling all my possessions, but here I am today. I'm at the end of my financial resources and I'm frightened. How in the world will I take care of my children? Pay my medical bills, keep a roof over our head, keep the lights on.
So every day, Lenindra prayed and meditated about how to proceed. And every day, she heard the same thing.
Pray for what you need now.
For weeks, she prayed clearly and strongly for her needs. She needed the money for food, for her car payment, for rent, for medical help. Weeks of prayer, but nothing changed. Now there is little food left for her children. The car payment is due next week, and the rent in 2 weeks. Her voice is hoarse with tension as she clearly goes more into her morning supplications. The answer comes again clearly and calmly.
Dear one, pray for what you need now.
I am.
Pray for what you need now.
I am. I have been.
At this point, Lenendra's frustration and fears culminate. She feels like shrieking at God, but she quiets herself. She stops fully to experience her feelings. She has a crushing sense of responsibility for her children and her debts. She feels trapped without options. She fears that she is abandoned and alone in the universe, afraid there is no help out there.
Am I dying? Will I be okay?
Pray for what you need now.
I must be missing the point. I think I've been doing this. What am I missing? What am I overlooking? What am I not getting? I've been praying for what I need. I need next month's rent money. I need money for my car payment due in 2 weeks. I need money to pay the medical bills. I need money to buy food. But nothing's happening. I feel so desperate, I just don't know what to do.
Shh. Still yourself. Still yourself and listen. Pray for what you need now.
But I am praying for what I need. I need money for next month's rent, my car payment, my medical bills, food.
Now.
What? But I need.
Now.
Now you mean like right now? Like right this very moment now? While we're talking?
Yes, in this moment, now.
Just in this very moment only?
Yes, in just this very moment now.
Well, right this very moment, I don't really need anything.
Finally, you've got it.
And suddenly, something opens up inside her and she falls headlong into it. A rush of understanding floods her being. She has the extraordinary sensation of having no need, of being absolutely free of need. Throwing her head back, she laughs out loud at the simplicity of it. Her chest expands with the breath of it. Her heart pumps fully at the ease of it. The moment expands and she weeps at this freedom from crushing need.
Oh, how can I keep this feeling of such freedom?
Add up all of the moments you have had no need. You will see that the moments in which you were free of need far, far outweigh the others.
The illumination begins to dawn across her mind more fully. It pours into her cells. She waits, open, receiving. She sees her need on one hand. She sees no need on the other. The times there has been absolutely no need are far greater than the times of need. She feels an enormous rush of gratitude. Just as she is integrating this new understanding, her inner voice continues.
Now, my child, examine what you have asked for.
Well, I've asked for money for rent, money for food, and money for the car payment.
Right, you keep asking for money. But do you really need money, or do you need to be provided for? Don't limit how the source will fill your needs for you. You live within a divinely provident universe. Speak your requirements softly, yet certainly, knowing that they are already there for you. Simply call them forth, each in their own time. No sooner is required. All is in order for you. In this, you may have certainty. Call forth your rightful requirements from the gratitude of this certainty.
Over the next 3 weeks, she disciplined herself to fully integrate this new understanding, and requirements begin to be met in ways that were quite magical and very humbling. One day at the post office, a stranger walked up to her and said, "Excuse me, ma'am, I was noticing you have a real nice truck, which I sure could use for my business. I know this may sound kind of bold, but I was wondering if you would consider trading it for that great little car over there. Oh, by the way, it's paid for." And suddenly, no car payments. Neighborhood gardeners began supplying her with an overflow of fresh food. The city tourism office inquired if she'd like to rent rooms in the historic home in which she lives, and the rent revenue began to cover the house payment each month. A dear friend asked Lenendra to accompany her on a joint health quest. At the friend's expense, Lenendra picked up a rolled up yoga mat, and her journey to recover health began. The entire experience gave Lenendra Carroll a glimpse into the flow of the infinite prosperity that is present in an orderly and abundant universe. It was her wake-up call to a life of ease and abundance as she began, for the first time, to rely on what she could not see.
This entire experience gave me a glimpse into the flow of the infinite prosperity that presents an orderly and abundant universe.
And so it is.
I had to stop myself from eating that Snickers.
Yes, and a big hand for our narrator, please.
And the hidden voice.
The inner voice, yes. Yes, that was fun. Thank you, Suzanne. Very nice.
I like the way you took off that scarf.
Yes.
Free at last.
Free at last. Okay.
Or the beginning of a striptease.
No. So this was her wake-up call to a life of ease and abundance as she began for the very first time to rely on that which she could not see. One line from Luke that is not in the version of Jesus' words in Matthew appear to be very appropriate here, and it goes like this: "Fear not, little flock, for it is the Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom." So I ask you this morning, as we look at building a life of prosperity, do you have concerns or worry over your financial well-being? Are you holding fear? Do you doubt that you are as splendidly taken care of as the lilies of the field? If you answered yes to any of these questions, go with me into this meditation, which I'm going to do in just a minute. If you answered no, I have a very sacred job for you. I ask that as we do this meditation, you hold the space of possibilities for those around you. After I end with the spoken part of this meditation, Jeff will continue the meditation with his singing bowls. So join me now if you'd like, as we just take a deep breath and relax into the arms of Spirit. I know that I am always divinely supported, guided, loved, and cherished. I bring my attention to the present moment, right now. I consciously count my needs on one hand. I now count all of my good on the other. I ask, what do I need right now? I take note of all of the good that is already mine, and I give thanks for all of my blessings. Again, I ask, what do I need right now? I see the amazing good that is in my life and continues to flow into my life unhindered. What do I need right now? I know that I am divinely supported by the unseen, by Spirit in every area of my life, and I trust that it is unfolding exactly as it should for my highest and best good. What do I need now? It is the Father's good pleasure to give me the kingdom, and I graciously accept this as my birthright. I know that there is no spot where God is not. I can relax with ease and grace into the loving arms of Spirit, knowing that when the question is asked, what do I need now? I can answer, not a thing, for all is already given. I stand in this moment right now. This is my place of power, where I know that all of my needs are met. I relax and I let it be, and so it is.